morning. How are you? Recently, my wife and I were in Spain. I was speaking at a conference. And I was so proud. I shouldn't be proud. That's bad. Pride cometh before a fall. But I was so delighted that while I was preaching, and I had a great interpreter, my wife was in the front row, and they had announced the award she's won and her musical gift. Imagine, never been trained, can't read or write music, and has written so many gorgeous songs and won multiple Grammy Awards, and her choir, just this last Sunday, did they bless me and a lot of other people. So I said, but you know, it's unusual that she, and he's interpreting, and I had already thrown in some Spanish words, Viva España, up with Spain, and you know, the phrases I know. And so he was translating, and then I said, and what's unusual about that is that when she was growing up, she was very shy. And the guy from Spain went, and he said that, but he couldn't think of the word for shy. He just paused for a second, and out of nowhere, the word came to me, gringo that I am, tímida. And I yelled in the microphone, no, tímida. The place went wild. They thought this Polish-Ukrainian gringo knows the word that the interpreter forgot. Oh, I was so happy about that. And I had a wonderful time. You know, in Spain, they don't say gracias, like that, gracias, or mi corazón, my heart. They say mi corazón, gracia, with a little bit of a lisp. Just between you and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want to say corazón. I want to say corazón. But whatever, they were speaking it first before I was, or any country in South America or Mexico, Central America. So we're reading Hebrews 12, verse 2. Run this race with endurance. Why? Because the Christian life is a race of faith, but it's a long race. Oh no, it's not a dash. It's like the 10K marathon that they run around here. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. Some translations have of our faith, but literally it's in the Greek, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. So some people, commentators, believe that means Jesus, pioneer and perfecter. Jesus lived by faith, trusted in the Father, went through life, ran his race. And then he's also the perfecter in that he helps us as we're running our long marathon. Others say, no, it could be construed this way. Jesus began the work of faith in us, and he's going to perfect the work of faith in us. Both are true to the scriptures. Keeping our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer, the author, the pioneer, and perfecter of faith. The just shall live by faith. What a reminder for all of us today. I'm going to ask it to you. Are you trusting God for your needs today? Are you trusting God for your salvation? Or are you trying to have a piece of the action and be good enough for God to accept you? No. Don't do that. By the works of the law, no one will be accepted. It's by faith that we receive entrance into the kingdom. We're justified by grace, by God's grace through faith. So are you trusting God for your needs today, your problems, your heartaches? Just recently, even this very day that I'm taping this, I learned that my brother passed away to be with the Lord. But he had faith. 6 years older than me. Lived on the West Coast. But I was able to talk to him from my time in Spain, and I could tell he was in pain. And I made plans immediately to come back, be here in New York for the weekend, and then fly out Thursday night to the West Coast just to be with him for 2-3 hours if he could take it. But the Lord took him home. I think the Lord saw that he was going to go through so much pain. But my brother took it when they sent him home for hospice, which I just learned, 4 days before he passed. I'm going home. It is what it is. He lived a good, long life, but he trusted in Jesus. So now he's with the Lord. How do I know that? Because the Bible says to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. He's no longer in his body. Death means separation. And I want you to know that today. This morning, just actually getting ready to get dressed, I thought of how my brother was an example to me. He's a better Christian than me, better person than me, better son for sure. My mother called not only him Bob, but she would call me Bob. Right before she died, she said, "Oh, Bob, so good to see you." I go, "No, Jim, remember Jim, the second son?" And Bob walked by faith. And now he gets the reward of faith. If you work here for money, you get a paycheck. If you work hard to get a PhD, you get your degree. But if you walk by faith, trusting in Jesus, you get ushered into the presence of God forever. I miss my brother already, but I'm going to be with him sooner than all of us can imagine, probably. And you too. By the way, I just want to point this out today. One day you're going to die. It shouldn't be like, "Oh, I didn't tune in this morning to hear about death." Well, what are we going to live in, fantasy land? No, we live, we die. But for the Christian, the payoff is not here. This is not where God rewards us. Here we suffer trial, tribulation, trouble of every kind. We have to run this race with obstacles and all of that. But we know, we trust, we believe that at the end of the race, we're going to be welcomed into the arms of God. Make sure your faith is in Jesus today. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.